Now, one of the things you have to do in politics is you have to be principle-centered. You have to be principle-centered. You've got to stand on principle. Sometimes you think, well, maybe I should lean left, maybe I should lean right. But at the end of the day, you've got to look down that road and say, these are my principles. I'm going to stand on these principles. And that's why I have so much honor to introduce this young man at this time that comes from a legacy of family that's committed to this community, and that's none other than Phil GiaQuinta, State Representative. Principle-centered, man of honor.
Thank you, Glynn. I suppose I could have Skyped in from Urbana, but I didn't really you and the rest of the group. Normally at this time, I'm given a, how you doing, John? I'm given a sort of a process where we are in the budget, and it's been passed out of the House, and they're working on it in the Senate, and how we're doing on the bills and things like that.
Good job.
Well, something happened on the way to Urbana. And so I'm going to just talk a little bit about that, sort of the process and where we are. You know, we actually had passed out roughly 100 bills. So we were making some, not all to my liking, but certainly some improvement. You know, generally, most bills get 90 to 95 votes. You know, it's something most of us can, these are votes, bills that most of us can agree upon. But toward the end of the session, toward the end of the first half, the last day of the committee meeting, there was one bill in particular that everyone had agreed that would come off the table, and that is the famous Right to Work bill, essentially saying that you don't have to join the union and things like that. I'm trying not to go too many details. I'll certainly hang around to answer any questions I can afterwards, because I know time's limited. That bill, though, was heard on the very last day of the committee session, and it was heard and voted out on the same day. Now, normally on complicated bills, we hear them, take a week, digest, ask some more questions among committee members and witnesses and things like that. Voted out on the same day. The next day then, of course, was the last day for second readings. Well, that Monday night, we decided to have a caucus. And certainly both parties over the years have had lengthy caucuses. The next morning, we met and decided that not only on this bill, but several other bills that I will talk about here shortly, that it was time to stop. Coach Stevenson, what do you do when the other team's on a 15-0 run, and in a basketball game, you call a timeout? And it's March Madness, that's what we're thinking about today. So we said, we need a timeout. And the reason for that is to really take some time and look at the bills, and to give the public a chance to look at the bills and see what's all in there, good, bad, whatever that may be. Not only was the Right to Work bill something that was agreed upon that really would not be called, but it was. You have a voucher school bill that was on second reading, and let's talk a little bit about that. Originally the bill said it was going to be capped at so many students could use vouchers in 2011 and 2012, and then no cap after that. And it was, and you had the salary earning, I think it was around $100,000 for a family of four. That's since, you know, we've been hearing today we're going to bring that down to around $60,000. Well, what's the impact really on that? You're talking about public school children using vouchers to go to a private school. That's a major impact, frankly, on Fort Wayne community schools, other urban schools, East Allen, and so on. And, you know, in this day and age, we don't have a lot of money out there. Keep in mind, in the last budget, several $1 million were cut from the school funding formula. So we're struggling as it is for the dollars that we can get. And other issues since then with regards to the voucher bill have come to light. Some that maybe I haven't even really thought of, and that's why I think it was a good idea to have this discussion and the timeout. One being, someone said to me, what if someone starts a religion, we'll call it religion X, because I'm not going to discriminate between religions, but that particular religion is something that I may not agree upon. Maybe it's some sort of extremist religion or something like that, and yet a student wants to take their voucher and go to that particular school. So now we're into which religion is better than another, and that's the whole idea behind the separation of church and state. Vouchers, I feel, are a bad idea. the second bill I want to talk about, because we're really sort of down to two in our negotiations right now, and that is something to do with project labor agreements and the common wage, or it's essentially how it's now in place is public projects of $125,000 or more are subject to a common wage, and that's where you have, again, get into too many details, but you have a group that sets the wage based upon the common wage that's currently being earned in the community, and these are on public works projects. They want to raise that from $125,000 to $1 million, which essentially wipes out most projects. So then now bidders would be able to come in and bid lower, right? We know where the lower comes from. It comes off wages. And so now you're going to have people out there working for less money, and I think that's a bad thing. I think we ought to be able to pay folks a decent living wage in this community, and it benefits all of us. Not just those that go out, people that want to go out and buy goods and services, but just think the more money you're making, making a decent wage, it's more sales tax because you're buying stuff goes to the state, more income tax that's collected, and so on. So it really, I think, helps the community altogether. The other part of it is the elimination of public labor agreements, where a mayor wants to enter into an agreement, and they spell out specific things. They want to make sure that the people working on this project have workers' comp, that they're drug tested. That's important. That maybe they have to reside in the state of Indiana and not come from outside the state. Maybe they have to be a U.S. citizen. How about that? No undocumented workers. You want to worry about that? Maybe you put that into your agreement. The bill would essentially eliminate that of what a mayor would like to do and be able to enter that. I think that's a bad deal. For those of you that know me, and most of you do, I have been taught to go to work every day. Don't live up to your responsibilities, and I feel like that's what I'm doing. We have in the state constitution, get the exact number, but it basically says that for the House of Representatives and the Senate, for them to be able to conduct business, they have to have a quorum. So there is the right of the minority, and that is us. We're 40 strong, and we as the minority did make the decision, again, to halt business. And the minority in this country, we do have some rights. Think about it. When they talk about, bills are filed, and the Speaker of the House, one person, decides where a bill goes. It may go to the Rules Committee, where it may not even receive a hearing. Bills may go to the local government chair, the public policy chair. The chairman, one person, decides whether or not that bill will even receive a hearing. Maybe it receives a hearing, but the chair decides we're not even going to give the bill a vote, too many issues. Again, one person making decisions. So even though we're in the minority, we know we don't have a lot of power, but there is one thing that we could do, and we decided to do it. And that was, again, to slow the process down. I hope this comes to a conclusion soon, because as much as I like Representative Moses, we don't like living together. And he had some personal issues this morning. I hope his son's doing better, and he'll be back with me back in Urbana on Monday. And again, I hope we get these, because we do face a lot of serious issues at the state, and I think we'll be back sooner than you think, and we'll be back to do some good things. So thanks a lot for listening.